Hello everyone, once again, konnichiwa, konbanwa, since I am talking out of Tokyo. So in evenings, we greet everyone by saying konbanwa. That means a very good evening to all of you. And today, I have chosen a topic which is just a minute. Okay, I'm going ahead. Yes. So, to begin with, I'll start with my introduction. I am Nidhi. I'm an early childhood educator. I have been working in this domain for roughly around 15 years. I have been very fortunate. I got to study in good university. I was very fortunate even to work with one of the best organizations back in India in this particular domain. So I had an opportunity to work with ZLearn, Mexis Education, and Birla Edutech. I also worked with an organization which is based out of the US named Guidecraft, and we were into manufacturing of educational toys for young children, primarily educational toys. And it's been 2 years that my family moved to Japan. We are currently residing in Tokyo, and herein I am associated professionally with an international school, and I also work with one of the institution who work for Japanese young learners and help them acquire English as a second language. So this is what a little brief about myself. At the moment I have a 6-year-old daughter, so I have all the responsibility of a mother alongside my profession, and that is something which has kept me going in this domain because I really get to practice my theories, what I learned, and it gives immense satisfaction, and it makes you feel to do things more when you see them in action in person. So for me, it's practically like that whatever I studied during my college days, I actually see it happening with my daughter, with her, she achieving each milestone as she's growing up and moving from one stage to the other. So coming back to today's discussion, and the topic is that, how the introduction of a foreign language benefits children if it is introduced at an early age. I'm sure most of you must have been aware about the benefits a bilingual child brings to himself or herself compared to their counterparts of being a monolinguistic child. So, most of the world population is bilingual. Very few of us are monolingual, and there have been many researches which has proved that how a bilinguistic person, so when I say bilinguistic or multilinguistic, I primarily mean a person who speaks more than one languages, understands or even read and write more than one language. So that is how we differentiate a monolinguistic person. So mono means one, and bilingual or multilingual means a person who can speak, read, write and understand more than one language. So, there have been researches which have proven that children who are exposed to language, more than one language, they get highly benefited academically and even otherwise. So these children have the capacity to think out of the box, to think creative. They are very good problem solvers. They tend to learn things very well because constantly their brain is working, so when a person knows more than one language, they think, speak, talk in more than one language. Constantly their brain is working, is exercising. So probably if I am talking in English right now, at this very much same time my brain can think in Hindi as well, because that's my mother tongue. So constantly both the languages work, and it benefits the child in a long run. So I wanted to share this brief about how being both monolingual and bilingual or multilingual, affects a child in a long run. So usually, when a child learns a second language, it brings them a lot of benefit in different perspectives. When it comes to interacting with the other children, when it comes to interacting with the adults, it makes a lot of difference to this child, because this child is able, or for that matter even an adult, is able to connect very well with the other person. Coming back to the other advantages. So when a child is bilingual or multilingual, they are able to learn everything much faster. They're able to enhance their future opportunities. For example, in India, it is very common, and I have spent almost 10 to 15 years in Mumbai. I belong to northern part of India, and for my higher educations, I moved to Mumbai, and therein I had the opportunity to work and interact with my peers who came from different linguistic backgrounds, different language skills. I had friends who spoke Marathi, I had friends who spoke Gujarati and Bengali. So I spent like around 10 years in Mumbai, and unconsciously just hearing them, because my environment was such, I picked Marathi, though it was not my primary language, neither it was my native language. I picked Marathi somehow, and I started comprehending. I started making attempt to speak in Marathi. So it is very beautiful, especially in Indian culture, where you see there are so many languages being used. For that matter, every 100 to 120 kilometers, the language changes completely. Sometimes just the dialect changes, but sometimes the language changes completely. I was very surprised when I started understanding Marathi, that I got to know that a person speaking Marathi in Mumbai is very much different from a person, the dialect is pretty different from a person who speaks Marathi in Pune, or for that matter, Sangli or Barshi or any other small, towns in Maharashtra. So that's how, it impacts. And immediately when you talk to somebody in their native language, you get connected with them, which is very important. And that is the benefit which comes along with being multilingual or being bilingual. As a parent, we all focus on our children's academic skills, and alongside academic skills, we also try to ensure that our children, build some kind of additional skills, co-curricular skills, for example, sports, or for that matter, music. So we take those things seriously, and at the same time, we even think that we can help our children and motivate them to address these skills at a professional level. We start looking at these skills from a long term perspective, for them to use these skills from a professional perspective. So we try to look for avenues where we can help them get trained. But fortunately or unfortunately, most of us ignore the importance and the strength of a language linguistic skills, to be precise, when I say. So here, when I'm talking about linguistic skills, I'm not talking about only the child being able to use the native language. I'm also referring to the use of a foreign language. So how early we can introduce a foreign language, how a foreign language can benefit our child, how it can enhance the skills of our child, how it can give our child an added advantage in the years to come, is something what we tend to ignore, or maybe we don't realize the importance of it. Currently, with this COVID situation, we are all going through testing times, and we all are pushed to our boundaries. Everybody is trying their level best to come out of this situation. There are now, because the lockdown has been increased, the duration has increased over the time. People are facing a lot of difficulty. There are a lot of friends and family members who are losing their jobs, who are even experiencing reduction in their salaries. So but at the same time, we all are trying to cope up with these situations. We are all pushing ourselves to the limits, that we have started thinking differently how to make things happen. The suddenly the children's school, which we had never imagined, has become virtual. Our children are attending Zoom classes. Our children are able to use technology. They are using Zoom. They are making presentations online. For that matter, this coming weekend, my daughter is going to have her virtual sports day. Like, I had never ever dreamt of a sports day going virtual, but that is what is happening. Like, we are stuck, but at the same time, we all are trying our level best, to come out successfully of this situation. And I'm sure we all will come out. And in past also, there have been cases where there have been incidences that where the entire world has faced many challenges, but at the same time, they have come out very successfully. So we have to prepare our children for this unforeseen situations. We have to look for avenues where we can enhance our child's skill, how we can make them more competent, what are all the additional skills we can provide to our child, so that in such unfortunate situations they are able to stand by, whether we are there to support them or not support them at that point of time, because we've not seen the future. Our child should be independent enough and skilled enough to support himself or herself through such tough times. So that's why I chose that I will talk about importance of introducing a foreign language at a very early age. It's been 2 years we are living in Tokyo. My entire perspective towards the language change, though my daughter is already a bilinguistic learner, because at home we spoke to her. Sorry for your, yeah. So uh, hi Dimple, yes. Sorry, I just got distracted with the messages. So it is very important that we create avenues to upgrade our children, to help them have additional skills, have some kind of knowledge, and that's the reason I chose linguistic skills in specific, and that's why I chose foreign language in specific. Now currently we are in Tokyo, and when we came here, initially we found it very tough because less than 10% of Japanese population speaks English. English is not mandatory in their school until Olympics was planned over here, and that's when government decided that the children need to study English compulsorily in their, as part of their education system. Japanese education system does not comprise of too much academics. They learn more of life skills. They learn, they are very good at sports. They learn multiple musical instruments in the school. So that is what is the focus. So not that they do not excel academically later. Yes, they do, but their limitations comes to the fact that they only speak Japanese. So as I shared, less than 10% of Japanese population, they speak English. So it becomes very difficult for them when they have to interact with foreigners or expats who are living over here. So most of the time, either the expat makes a attempt to speak in whatever Japanese, or the common words they pick over the time to interact with these people. I remember when we were here, the first few words which I learned was, konnichiwa. So when you have to say hello to somebody, you have to say konnichiwa. During the daytime, if it is morning, you have to say ohayo gozaimasu. And here people are very polite. For every little thing, you have to thank the person whom you are talking to. So we say arigato gozaimasu in Japanese if we have to say thank you to somebody. Everybody, be it any shopping complex or wherever you go, everybody would bow down. So that is part of their culture. That is the part of their customs, their belief, their tradition. They are very polite people. But the biggest challenge, which as a foreigner or an expat we face or they face when we come together here, is the language. So it is very important that we all should upgrade ourselves and equip ourselves with different languages, so we can connect with other people in their language. It makes communication so much easier. It makes it so much easier to understand the other person's culture. When we talk about festivals, in India we say festivals, but it is called a matsuri over here. So these basic terminology, so if a child understands these basic terms, it becomes so much easier for the child to interact with the other children. My daughter studies in international school, and she has in her class Japanese children, Korean children, Chinese children. So within a span of few months, one fine day my daughter returned from school and she started singing Japanese songs. Why? Because children are like sponge. They absorb things unconsciously, and they are very fast learners. So it is very important that we start preparing the environment around them and give them enough opportunities to acquire different skills which would take them very long in future, and would also give a lot of additional added advantage or benefits to them. So when I talk about foreign languages, there are certain languages which are very popular across the world. Though I'm giving more examples about Japan or about Tokyo because I'm residing here, so it is coming from my personal experiences. But I was looking up internet, and I tried finding out which are some of the most popular foreign languages which we should target at, or we should consider that our children should learn. Are some of them are like Mandarin, which is spoken in China. Then we have French, Spanish, German, Russian, Japanese. For that matter, Arabic and Portuguese is also one of the very popular language. If you go to Singapore, Malay is a very common language which is spoken in Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia. So imagine if your child is working there and if he knows the language, the amount of opportunities, the benefits which would come through your child would definitely get multifold. And why I wanted to discuss that we should introduce a foreign language at an early age is because the researchers have proven that a child's brain is very, very ready and very flexible, to absorb a language. So there is a part in a child's brain which is, we all have the subconscious brain. So at when children are young, their subconscious brain is very, very active. So the number of languages you would present a child to, the child would easily absorb those language. As an adult, I would need to make conscious effort and acquire the language. Whereas when it comes to a child, their brain are, they have amazing brains. They can simply acquire, they simply absorb the information unconsciously. For example, as an adult, if we like some songs, unconsciously we keep on singing, 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 and we tend to memorize it. Same thing happens with the children because they have very high imitation skills. They observe, they imitate. And another reason that we should introduce foreign language at a very young age is children don't have inhibitions. They don't feel awkward, they don't feel ashamed, they are okay to make mistakes, they make fun, they try new things. I remember when my daughter was learning English during the course, she would make her own words which had no sense, but at the same time she wouldn't feel ashamed or stressed about it. She would just say, laugh it out, laugh it out, and then would again talk something, and that's how her vocabulary increased. We kept on talking. So as a parent, our role should be to talk to the children, give them enough opportunities. How do we how so that's how so another thing is, how do we bring in a foreign language into their routine on a daily basis? How do we decide that which language we should focus, or which language we should introduce? Is completely, as a parent, you need to decide that, okay, fine, across the world these are the most common languages spoken, which will be the easiest one for me to start off with? Or as an adult, what language I should take up to introduce to my child, or a foreign language which I would be able to help support my child? For example, Japanese is one of the most difficult languages. It has three scripts, namely hiragana, katakana, and kanji. So if you have to learn to speak, read, and write Japanese, you need to know all these three scripts. Plus there are 5 levels, for somebody to be proficient in this particular language, with the lowest being N5 and the highest being N1, which is the most proficient level for a Japanese speaker. So we need to assess, which countries, what kind of an interest probably my child has, and which countries I can look forward for my child, that probably wherein my child can pursue, higher studies, which are the area of interest my child has. Accordingly, I can make choice for a foreign language. Tokyo University, for that matter, is one amongst the top 10 universities over the world. I'm double masters. I wanted to pursue my doctoral program after I came in here. So I went to Tokyo University thinking that, they have, because I researched online and I figured out that they have masters in doctoral program in education. So I was very thrilled and excited that, what I was looking for, I will get it over here even though we moved from India to here. But I was thrilled. I was very excited. I went to the university. People were very polite. People welcomed, greeted. But unfortunately, the entire program was offered in Japanese, and that too, they required business level proficiency. So I felt very unfortunate, and I felt that I am missing a skill. I never thought of upgrading myself in terms of linguistic skills. I thought I know how to speak English, and that should be fine because English is spoken mostly all over the world. But probably I felt I was wrong. I need to know some more languages to open up more channels for myself or my child to explore. The kind of problems we are facing nowadays, any sort of skill, any sort of advantage which comes in addition to our existing skills would make a lot of sense, would make a lot of difference to our children's survival in coming future. So it is very essential that we do not underestimate the power of language skills and give it equal importance how we give importance to sports or academic skills. For that matter, as parents, we are always even considerate about the health of our children, the amount of attention we pay, that they should not be eating junk food and they should be eating healthy. So at the same time, I think we need to focus on linguistic skills equally, and it is not really very difficult to begin with and to start off with. We all will think, oh, we don't know this particular language, how should we go about introducing this language? So the first and foremost thing is we have to look around. We have to look around for resources available, how we can start. And nowadays internet has made things really possible and feasible. The first and foremost thing is the environment. So once I have decided that which foreign language I want to introduce my child to, the next step comes in building that environment, creating that environment within the house and outside the house, so that my child feels motivated to acquire that particular language. And the reason being that when my child will enter the workforce, he or she will always have that additional edge. I will give you a very simple example here, because Japan's almost quarter population is very elderly, so they don't have young force people working in. And in that young force who is the young force who is working in different industries, less than 10% of them speak English. And the ones who speak English and Japanese both very fluently, they are majorly into the interpretation industries, they are in the hotel industries, they are in the hospitality industries, they work in healthcare segments. Because as an expat, when I am visiting a medical care facility, to really express myself in Japanese that I'm having some difficulty is very tough. We still face a lot of challenge over here for looking for a doctor who can speak and understand English. So imagine the amount of opportunity your child would have if he can speak, read and write Japanese. So there are and they also get paid really really well compared to the Indian paying standards what are there. I remember recently we had a Rugby World Cup which was scheduled in Japan. It happened, and there were job postings looking for volunteers just for that event, and they were paying hefty 6,000. If I convert Japanese yen into Indian rupees, I would probably roughly around 6,000 to 7,000 rupees per hour. They were ready to pay the volunteers who could speak Japanese and English proficiently, because they wanted people to interact with the foreign players who were coming in Japan, and also the people, the organizing committee. Even unfortunately the Olympics got cancelled, so this year for the Olympics they were looking for volunteers who could speak, read and write and understand English and Japanese both, because they could act as wonderful interpreters. Due to COVID, there is so much shortage of healthcare professionals over here, and especially healthcare professional who can speak English and Japanese both. So I'm giving more and more context of Japanese right now, because that is what I'm seeing and experiencing in every day-to-day life. And I'm again and again stressing that it is very important to introduce this language at a early age to children, because they have the capacity to learn the language much faster. Me and my daughter daughter, we both started to learn Japanese at the same time. Today she's far ahead of me where I started off. So it is, for me, it is taking really long compared to her. She's able to sing Japanese songs. She's able to interact with her Japanese friends at school. She's learning much at a much faster pace than me, because as an adult, when we decide that we have to learn a foreign language, firstly we need to unlearn a lot of things to learn something new, because we have so many preconceived notions, we come with so much baggage. Then we feel awkward that if we are trying to talk and if we make mistake, then what will happen? People would laugh, or probably people would poke fun. So children don't come with all these baggages. They don't come with all this stress. For them, it's absolutely fine. They can laugh it out loud. So it is very, very important that we introduce a foreign language to our children at an early age, for the primary reason they will absorb it much faster. They don't have so much baggages. They are okay to experiment. It's absolutely fun for them. And especially children, up till they reach their puberty, their language acquisition is at peak. So I'm not talking, you not only one, you can introduce them to multiple languages. So children, before a child turns even a year old, they can differentiate multiple sounds. So if you introduce 10 different languages to a child who's less than 1 year old, they'll be able to differentiate between all these sounds, because they are born with that capability, they're born with that capacity to differentiate between sounds. So what happens eventually, the language which they hear most often, those sounds remain, and rest of them, finally their brain starts discarding, because they are not getting enough what do I say, enough input or enough motivation for that particular sound, so it is very important that we start early. So if we'll wait that we are going to grow old and then we start learning a language, it's not that we cannot do it, it's just the process becomes longer, because we have to learn and then learn more things. Now I will come to creating an environment at home. The best way of creating environment at home for any language is books, I would say. So you can always start with books. You can look up Amazon India. They have variety of books available. They even have Japanese books and French books and German books available for children. You can start with as simple as picture cards. You can start with vocabulary flashcards. You can have simple posters being put up at home. You can start with rhymes, nursery rhymes and songs. They are the best thing. Like even as an adult, when I'm making attempt today to learn Japanese, is we go to community library over here, and we have this beautiful children section in the library for children books. And they have picture books, they have books with titles like My First Few Japanese Words. It works exactly the same way how we learn English or Hindi or Marathi or Gujarati or Telugu or Tamil. The same process has to be followed. It's just that we need to get those resources to our child. And I'm not saying that we have to burden our children, but we have to gradually expose them to another foreign language, so that they start showing interest and they find it very fun, especially when they get to hear folk tales from different traditions, different cultures, because it brings a lot of interest. They can relate, they can extend themselves, they can build connections. So for example, we when we go to the library over here, I try to read Japanese stories. So here they have provision in the library that they have bilingual books. So we can always go for a bilingual book, probably French and English, German and English, Japanese and English, so that as a reader or as a parent, we are also able to understand what we are trying to teach our child. So we bring both the languages together and help our children learn this particular language. And that's how the process has to be. So we have to create an environment at home. We don't have to discourage our children and poke fun. It's all right to make mistakes. It's perfectly fine. We make mistake, they can also make mistake, but we have to be encouraging. We have to be supportive to our children, be it any language they are learning. So English is by default a must, because if our children have to grow up to be global citizens and travel across the world and make things much easier for them, it is very important that they speak English. But in addition to that, imagine your child speaking French or German or Japanese, and the kind of opportunities your child would get, even if they want to study, go for their higher studies, and if they are going to another country, if they know the language, they will be able to connect with local people so very well. They would know about their culture, they would know about their tradition, because by default, when you learn a language, the culture, tradition, everything comes in. So when I'm reading a Japanese folk tale to my daughter, it talks about their traditions, it talks about, their beliefs, how they have level of politeness over here you won't imagine. So within their language, they have low level of politeness. So if I'm talking to somebody in my family, it has to be spoken in a different fashion. If I'm talking to somebody at my workplace, it has to be spoken differently. So there are level of politeness which these people follow, and they are so very particular about them. They're so particular about, little things. Japanese people are very organized, they are very clean. The way they keep their environment clean over here, you will not find a single trash bin, a common trash bin how we find in India, here in Tokyo, or for that matter any place in Japan. People carry trash bags from home, because here the population is so less, they don't have people all the time cleaning places. So but here people take responsibility of their own actions. The country is super spick and span and clean. We think 10 times before, so as women, as girls, we think 10 times before using washrooms when we have to travel in India somewhere. But here, you can go to any public place, the washrooms will be as cleaned as your homes, or maybe sometimes it will be even cleaner. So when you learn about language, when you learn about people, when you learn about you get to learn so much about their culture, how they conduct themselves. Here people bow down for 10 times. If I'm talking to you, I'll be thanking you multiple times. I'll be bowing down to you. Even if I meet a stranger in the lift, or I'm passing by, if somebody is crossing you, in their culture they greet, irrespective that person is a stranger. They say sumimasen. So sumimasen is used Sumimasen is used for as a word to say excuse me and sorry. So so it's like it comes in their culture, it comes in their behavior. That's how they conduct themselves. So imagine your child understanding another foreign language, their culture, their people. How easy it would be for the child to get into the workforce over there, get acquainted to the people. How it becomes uncomfortable for us, when we change cities or when we change our workplaces, that and sometimes we become so comfortable in our existing workplaces that we don't want to change. Why that comfort comes in? Because we start connecting with people, we establish bonds with them. So, and the mere reason is language. Initially I used to find it very surprising that when we were in college, that when my friends would come, and if they would immediately start talking in Marathi, Gujarati friends would start talking in Gujarati, and there were a few bunch of us who were from northern part of India. We would either converse in Hindi or English, and then later I would try to reflect and analyze why is it so, but why. Then I realized later that it is so much easier to connect with the other person in their language, because there's something which the language somehow connects you, it bonds you together. So why only our native language? Why can we not expose our children to foreign languages? That is what the whole idea behind this discussion was. I would really really request you to please look around for resources, look around for things. Which foreign language would you want to consider for yourself? So along with your child, even you can start learning a foreign language. It's always an investment. So it not irrespective whether you are working, not working, doesn't matter. Learning something new is always beneficial. So that is something we really need to look at and focus and equip our children. And please do consider linguistic skills as one of the most important skill. Be your child a good be your child good at academics or sports or music. Just imagine if your child grows up to be or pursues music as profession, a child who's able to sing in French, Spanish, Japanese, English, the kind of audience he or she would get for himself or herself, the kind of opportunities which would come through, is you can't even imagine. So we somehow tend to ignore the benefits of the language skills, the kind of employment opportunities. I'm not sure if you all have heard about Rakuten. It is very popular e-commerce site here in Japan, but they're not only in Japan. They have they have their setup in Brazil, they have their setup in France, they have it in Spain, they have in US, they have it in UK. So imagine if a child knows multiple foreign languages, the kind of opportunities the child would have grab for herself or himself to be employed. Imagine your child being a sports person, but at the same time your child can absorb or understand different languages. So here, for example, I'll give you a very personal experience. My daughter goes for swimming classes over here in one of these swimming schools. So we have a lot of Indians coming over here who are training their children, and one of the Indian parent has trained his has trained her son for swimming at a professional level. That child was selected for Junior Olympics here, and the child could do it flawlessly because the child speaks and understands such fluent Japanese that he speaks as good as a native speaker, as a good native Japanese speaker. That's another point which I probably missed on, that when children start learning a foreign language, they don't put on their original accent. They start learning exactly the same sound as a native speaker will speak. So probably if I'm starting to teach French to my child at an early age, they will not speak for example, if I give quote my daughter, so she will not speak French with an Indian accent. She will speak French as a native French speaker. If I start early teaching her French or Japanese, they will speak like a native speaker. They will not put up any other accent. So this is how that's how it is very, very important that we give a lot of importance to foreign languages or language skills as an additional skill to be built for our children. Now I think my phone is ringing. I have a lot of questions coming in here, so I will try to answer all your questions. Hi Sonali, Dimple, Anushri, Vishala, Arohi. Okay, I have an 8-year-old niece. We wanted to teach her the German language. It is the right. Oh, perfectly. Why not? The language acquisition is at its peak. So till children reach puberty, it is the perfect age to start. I'm not saying that after that they cannot learn, but if they start much before their adolescence, their learning ability will be much, much faster. They will be able to absorb the new language much faster, and they will not they will not put on accent. They will speak like native speaker. They will be able to connect well. Please go ahead, Aruhi. And I am not sure where you are living, but especially in Delhi, I know Max Muller Bhavan is there. They have different levels of German. I'm not sure if they have a program for children yet, because it's been really long. I checked their website. You can please look on to Max Muller website. Hi, Dimple. My little one is 7-year-old. Understand what is a good age to start training for new language? See, sweetheart, you can start as early as your child is born. There is no hindrance. There is no bar. Please understand. We can start any language as early as possible. I'll give you my personal example. I started reading to my daughter at the very moment she was born. So I started with high contrast books with her, and then I gradually moved her to picture books and different format of books, which I can talk about later. So you can start as early as possible. How we teach our children English or our mother tongue, we have to follow exactly the same process for any other foreign language. Only thing is, you will have to work hard towards it, because since if you are not knowing that specific foreign language, you need to first equip yourself to help your child. So you can start slowly and gradually, and eventually you can start looking for resources online. But a sincere request, please do not show them a lot of screen. Please do not show them a lot of videos. There are a lot of audiobooks available, so you can make a note of applications like Get Epic. It is a book application probably which you can read yourself and help your child learn. There are a lot of audiobooks available to it. Read to me books are available on this particular app. Then Amazon has this Audible audiobook app called Audible. You can access a lot of books in other languages from Audible. They have English, they have German, they have French, they have Japanese books available on Audible. So you can use all these audio resources. So if your children are very young, please do not expose them to the screen. And even if you have little older children, give them limited screen time. Do not overwhelm them with lot of screen time. Try to incorporate more of books, try to get magazines, try to get newspapers, try to get folk tales from that particular culture and introduce them to all that. Then I have Manjari. My daughter is 30 now and is US citizen, and she would pursue her higher education. Which foreign language other than English is suitable for her? When and how she can start with the same? Manjari, since your daughter, it must be, I assume that she'll be very fluent with the English, please. And she is 13, so I'm sure she must have decided some career path for her. So, considering her career path, considering that whether she wants to continue studying in the US or whether she wants to go to any other universities apart from the US, and which countries she's aiming at, depending on her core, academic field, you should take a call on which language. But I can recommend that Mandarin, French, Spanish, German, Japanese will be the best bet if she has to pick up a foreign language. Okay, Gauri, my niece is 7 year old, right age to learn a foreign language. Yes. So 7 year old, definitely. Please go ahead, introduce. My daughter is also almost turning 7. She is learning German and French both. Not German, sorry, she's learning Japanese and French both, but she's at a very initial stage. At the same time, I would request, please do not expect wonders overnight, because the child needs to listen to that language often. So it's not that today I started and tomorrow my child will start speaking fluently Japanese or will start speaking French fluently. It takes time for them also to absorb and understand. Please do not stress them or burden them. They go at a very fast pace. My daughter started learning French last year, and she's just learned the letters in French, colors in French, and a few numbers in French, probably numbers up till 20. So the process will go much slower, though, compared to her English language skills, where she is now competent enough to read a chapter book on her own. So there is difference, because she has been exposed to English right from the time she was born, and she has been exposed to Hindi from the time she was born. So her language skills are far at an advanced level when it comes to English and Hindi, compared to her Japanese and French skills. She spent more time learning Japanese, so she is able to read and write the one of this Japanese script. But now she still does not have enough vocabulary to comprehend the storybooks in detail. All right, I have some more questions coming from here as well. Uh, 2.5. Okay, Purva says that her daughter is 2.5 year old. Correct time. Yes, please understand. You can. I'm reiterating again and again. As soon as your child is born, you can introduce as many languages possible. Only thing is, please follow developmentally appropriate practice. Do not burden them. Do not give them too much screen just because we have to introduce a second language to them. First, equip yourself, chart out a plan for yourself, how you want to introduce it to them. Go step by step, start with basic things. You can start with basic greetings. You can then go on to, for example, with children, it is very simple. You can start with basic letters or the whichever script. For example, in Japanese, there is a script, but in French and English, the letters are common. It's just that the sounds are different and they are spoken differently. So a is not referred to as a in French. It is said as, it is called as avion. So you have to go step by step. So first start with the letters, then probably you can introduce colors, you can introduce numbers, you can introduce greetings, you can start with days of the week, then what is month called, then how okay, days of the week, months. So these are the basic things which you can kickstart with. Then I have here Geeta. Okay, so more or less everybody has asked that they which age we should start the foreign language. So you can start as early as possible, but if you start before your child reaches adolescence, the process will be much easier for your child and they will learn much faster. In school they included, okay, Bhavya says in school they include Japanese. I felt that is the use of this language. Perfect. Yes, if your child is getting the opportunity to learn a foreign language at school, please do not let go of that opportunity. Let them grab that opportunity and learn. because that will be the best thing, they'll be doing. How many languages we can give? I A 7-year-old child, so probably, go please step by step. Just because I said that we can give multiple languages to our child doesn't mean that we have to bombard them with too many languages. Why my daughter is learning Japanese and French both? Because they don't have Hindi over here. So probably if she would have grown up in India, or if she would have grown up in Maharashtra, she would have learned Marathi as a second language. And probably if she would have grown up in Delhi, she would have learned Hindi as a second language. But here, because we are in Tokyo, and my daughter is going to an international school, they don't give you an option for regional languages, or languages which are not very common. So they have English as their first language, and usually they give option for second and third languages. So she has taken second language as Japanese and third language as French in her school. What should be the age? New language. Okay. Komal says, how to engage child in foreign language? I want to. So, Komal, please, you can start off by building an environment at home, whichever language you are targeting, be it French, Japanese, or Spanish. Look up internet for resources. Please start with, figure out first whether what kind of a script that language has. Are there resources available on Amazon? Whether you can take some printables. So there are many websites, which offer different language resources. So you can, and especially for children, and YouTube also is filled with a lot of rhymes and songs which you can play for children just to listen, not to watch, but just to listen, so that there is audio input going in, for children to understand and comprehend a language. Okay, what are the factor? Ruchel, I don't know. Ruchel, please excuse me if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. Rochelle Fernandez. What are the factors to consider when finalizing a language class for my child? Okay, for language class, I would really insist that teacher will play the most important role, and the kind of resources they would offer. So please ensure, if there is a possibility, and if you can have a native speaker teacher child, nothing like it. But in case the native speaker is not available, then whomsoever is available, please look up their credentials, look up their credentials, or talk to the parents of children whom that person has been teaching. And if you can look up for institutions, like for example, for German, Max Muller is very popular in India. Even similarly, for Japanese, there are many institutions which prepare children and adults for JLPT exam. So JLPT exam is the exam which you give for your proficiency level for Japanese. Anushri Kumar says, we are in India, will not my son 4 will get confused between languages? Okay, Anushri, that's a wonderful question. So there have been a lot of researches being done wherein it is categorically proved that children do not get confused between the language. Rather, the brain becomes more active. The child can think in multiple languages. So as beginning of the conversation, I said that when I speak in when I speak in English, at the same time my brain is thinking in Hindi as well. So same thing happens with the children as well. So today when my daughter refers to a cat or a dog, at the same time she thinks in 3 different languages or 2 different languages when she has Japanese on her mind. So a dog is called inu in Japanese, a cat is called neko in Japanese. So she knows, she says mama cat, mama neko. So her brain is constantly working in 2 different languages. So please don't get bothered about that. Your child will definitely not get confused. For example, my husband speaks 5 different languages. He's born and brought up in Mumbai. He studied in Nagpur. He's worked in Mumbai. He's worked in Delhi. He can speak Hindi, English, Marathi, Gujarati, and he's a Marwadi. So when he speaks to his parents, automatically he switches to Marwadi. Because he's born and brought up in Mumbai, he has so many friends from Mumbai that when he speaks to his friends, he automatically switches in Marathi. He's never spoken to me in Marwadi Marathi because I had very poor skills. So he always speaks to me in English or Hindi. Whenever he speaks to my parents, he automatically switches in Hindi. So their brain gets so tuned, automatically they can switch, seeing the face of the person, they automatically switch. So when my friend when my daughter speaks to us, she speaks to us in English, but when she has her Japanese friends in front, she tries to strike conversation with them in Japanese, or she tries to translate things in Japanese for them, because they don't have very good English skills, and she does not have very good Japanese skills. So somehow the two of them, they just manage, they translate things for each other, and they talk, because they know that, with this person I need to switch the language. So please be ensured they will definitely not get confused. Then I have okay. What is the right age? Runa says, what is the right age to introduce? My daughter is 3 year old. Please go ahead and introduce any foreign language of your choice to your child. And I forgot to mention during my introduction that I have my blog. I do blog. I do create videos on my channel. I have a blog by the name of My Motherhood Studio. I try to share a lot of information pertaining to resources, be it English, Hindi. I try to incorporate multilingual information regarding multilingual books on my YouTube channel and on my website, wherein I do a lot of book recommendations for the children across the various age groups. So I have recently done a post about being bilingual, how being bilingual helps children, what are the resources available, online resources. So some of the resources like Epic, Audible, which I mentioned, they are very much mentioned on my blog in case you don't find them. Another lovely resource, Indian resource from Indian author is Pratham Books, guys. How can I forget to mention that? Please go on Storyweaver's website. You have, bundle of books available in different languages. Storyweaver has made it so beautifully accessible for everyone. You can download the PDFs. You can read the books directly online. For some books, there are even read to me versions available on Pratham Books. Then we have Tulika and Katha also, who have lot of bilingual books available. So please look up for those resources. Then I have some more questions here. Let me just go through. Purva Agarwal, my daughter is 2.5 year old. So yes, definitely Purva, it's a perfect time for your daughter to pick the language. Then Purnima says, my daughter is 5. She's having good speaking skills in English. Which foreign language is best for 5 years? Purnima, please. I would say after English, the good options available would be Mandarin, French, Japanese, Spanish, and German. So you can please pick a choice, or probably follow the interest of your child, that something which probably give little flavor of two language to your child, and see where she gives more inclination towards which language, and that's when you can decide. Okay, Gagan says, how many languages a kid can learn, and what are the good languages to learn and appropriate age to start? See, a child can learn multiple languages. I will give you an example. I know a colleague. She's born in Korea. So for some time she grew up in Korea. Then her parents moved to China. So she spent some time in China, and now currently she's in Japanese. Can you imagine how many languages she speaks? Because she grew up, she is Korean by ethnicity. She speaks Korean very fluently. She can read, write, speak. Mind it, she can read, write, speak Korean, because she lived in China with her parents for quite some time. She learned how to speak Mandarin. So along with Korean, she speaks, read, write Mandarin. Then they spent a lot of time here and then she got married to a Japanese individual. Because she is married to a Japanese individual, she learned Japanese, so she can speak, read, and write Japanese in addition to English. So this colleague of mine speaks English, Japanese, Korean, Mandarin, and these are the four most popular languages all over the world. and imagine the kind of prospect she has, and you can't imagine how handsomely she is paid over here and the kind of opportunity she has. So today, even if she loses a job, she has 10 people waiting and welcoming her to offer her another job. So it's completely up to the child, and the kind of environment you offer to the child. But at the same time, do not burden the child, considering that okay, a child can learn multiple languages. That doesn't mean that we have to burn. We have to go easy, we have to go step by step. Please start with one language at a time. Do not burden the child with too many things. All right, Varda says, my daughter is 4. What is the right age and language? Which foreign language? As I shared earlier, also, please consider introducing Mandarin, French, Spanish, German, or Japanese. Then my son turns, Preet says, my son will turn 3 in August. He cannot form the sentences till now. He needs phone every time to watch, does not focus his mind on studies. All right, Preet, first and foremost, you have to stop giving phone to your child. Please, please, please do not give screen to your children unless it is really necessary, that too for learning purposes, and especially children who are so young. Rather, children up till the age of 5 to 6 should not be given screen at all. It really, really hampers their brain development, their capability, their capacity to learn. They need to touch books. Preet, please keep the phone away from him. It's okay if he doesn't speak sentences. That means he needs lot of verbal input. You need to talk to your child. You need to sing songs with your child. You need to sing rhymes. You need to read lot of books. Talk to your book child. Tell lot of stories to your children. And I have seen there is a lot of misconception amongst many people whom I interact with, that when we are reading to our child, we are burdening the child. They refer to as that we are making the child study at a very early age. Please understand, there is difference between reading and studying. Do not mix the two. I remember when my daughter was 3 months old and I used to read to her, my own mother would say that why are you starting so soon, why are you burdening her? I wasn't burdening her. I was introducing a new language to her. I was trying to build a bond with her. I was trying to connect with her. I wanted her to build. There is no other better way to connect with somebody rather than communicating. How do we connect with each other? We cannot connect with each other unless we talk to each other, unless we communicate with each other, unless we use language with each other to communicate. So it is very important that you communicate with your child. So when your children are very young, 3 months, 6 months old, while you're doing some work also, please talk to your children. As simple as that. Okay, I'm doing so and so work. Now mama will do this. Now mama will do that. Now mama will come to you, will give you a hug, will give you a cuddle. So reading to our child is also a way of emotionally connecting and bonding with your child, which is very, very important. So please do not mix studying and reading to the child together. So the same fundamental applies with the foreign language. Please connect the reading and please connect reading and the foreign language together. So probably you can pick up bilingual books. So probably French will be very easy for you to start off, because it is very similar to English if you are looking at introducing a new foreign language. So probably you can pick up bilingual books wherein the other language is a foreign language. Then Natasha, okay, Natasha says, my daughter will turn 5. She will be well versed with English and now able to speak in Hindi as well. I want to introduce Spanish to her. Is this the right age to start? Oh, yes, certainly, Natasha. Please go ahead and introduce Spanish, and please go step by step. First, figure out the Spanish script, how to go about it. And as I said, first start figuring out the script, where to start off with. You can start with basic recognition. You can allow your children to listen to rhymes and songs, figure out folk tales, figure out traditional tales from that particular culture. Then talk about colors, greetings, shapes, numbers, how we do it when it comes to English and Hindi. Same fundamental we have to follow for another foreign language. Rupari says, my daughter is 4 years, 5 months old. She can understand English and she tries to speak in English, but not very clear. Rupali, please understand, each child has her or his developmental milestone. Please don't get bogged down and don't get into the
rat race of comparing your children with other, that so and so person was this old, so and so person's child was this old and they could speak so fluently. My child, every child is unique, we all are unique, so we all have our own challenges, we all have our own advantages. Some child is good at something, some child is at good at some other thing, and each child takes their own time in progressing, be it language or any other skill. So it takes them time, and it also depends the kind of environment you have at home. So you need to give them books and lots of books and different format of books. Please have board books, picture books, sound books, traditional tales, all those grandma tales, along with the foreign languages. You can please do not miss to have your child communicate with you in your mother tongue as well. It would help your child to connect with you so well. So for me, the basic fundamental which I follow is that I have to use books and communication. These are the two main ingredients to introduce a language to a child. In kindergarten, my daughter had a last year in kindergarten, my daughter had a teacher who used to teach her Japanese. He was so popular amongst children. He could speak Spanish, French, Japanese, and English. So, and he used to connect so well with children. He would sing all the traditional Japanese rhymes with them. So, he used to introduce, so he was responsible for introducing Japanese to non Japanese speakers in the school. So, he would share about origin of Japanese language to them, what were the things which were followed in old Japanese system, but they are not prevalent now, how Japanese in old times and now is different, how you have to be polite in Japanese. So when you are referring to your mother, how you have to talk. When you are referring to your father, how you need to speak. For example, I will give you in India, for example, in Hindi or English, when we communicate, we call husband a father a father. But here, if it is somebody else's husband, you have to use a different nomenclature. If it is you are referring to your husband, you have to use a different nomenclature. So if I have to say my husband, I have to say watashi no sujin. So if I have to say my daughter, so I have to say watashi musume san. So for everything they attach san or chan. So when they are younger children, they say chan to give respect. So how we use Mr. and Mrs. In English, here they use san as a suffix to somebody's name. Nobody addresses me as Nidhi over here. So if some Japanese person talks to me, they call me Nidhi san. So same way I have to reciprocate. So if I am saying Anushri, I will not say Anushri, hi Anushri. I will say Anushri san. Konnichiwa, konbanwa. If it is evening, now it is late in the night. So they say Oya Sumina Sai for good night. So they are very specific, very particular. They give, so all these things make it very so when you know the language, these things become much easier to understand. Then I have here Biswal Kunmun. My daughter is 4.5 years old. She can understand English but unable to speak everything. Also, if I will talk in English, my friends will laugh at me, so please help. What should Okay, how can she talk clearly? See, please understand, if you are talking in English and if you are polishing your skills, you're enhancing your skills, people can make fun, people can laugh. You have to follow a child's approach. Please do not care. So now today, when I am learning here to learn Japanese, I make a lot of mistakes. Sometimes I get confused between watashi, watashino, watashiwa, because it is I, me, myself. So when I try to formulate a sentence, I get confused. If I am for example, how we use present tense and past tense, same thing is applicable in Japanese also. So arigato gozaimasu is something in continuous tense, but if it has already happened, the person would say arigato gozaimashita. So mashita comes into the picture. So I would always wonder, whenever I would go to the stores here for buying things, sometimes they would say arigato gozaimasu, sometimes they would say arigato gozaimashita. I would get really very confused. I wouldn't understand. So later, eventually, when I started making attempt to learn the language, is when I realized that, okay, that this is how it differs. This is how one has to get used to talking. Now, by default, when I see somebody, I bow down, because automatically, when you see people around bowing down to you and greeting you, you automatically do that. So we don't even know people living on our floor, but when we pass each other, if it is morning, we wish each other Ohayo gozaimasu. We have people who do housekeeping staff here in the society. So when we step down, everybody pays due respect to them. We wish them good morning, good afternoon, good evening whenever we come across each other. So that comes with the culture which we need to talk. Okay, Supriya here says, my son is 6. His speech is not very clear. Is learning foreign language can help him overcome this issue? I'm Supriya, to an extent, yes, it can, but I really cannot assure you. But definitely, the more he will learn, the more he will speak, the more he will practice, automatically things will fall in place. Sometimes some children need more practice in some area or the other. Some children need more practice for language, some children need more practice for math, some children need practice for something else. So everybody has their own core strengths. Now, for example, in my daughter's class, now I'm able to assess, I'm able to really understand all the children because she's having Zoom classes every day and I'm hearing the teacher speak, I'm hearing the children talk. So some children are very good in math, some children are very good in expressing themselves in language. So every child has their own strengths and own challenges. There are some Japanese children in her class, they understand and speak English very fluently because at home parents are talking to them. But there are some who are struggling because their parents don't know how to speak. So, but they are learning, they are eventually learning, they are falling in place, they are gradually improving. So practice is the key to success. Please keep practicing, help your child practice, but at the same time, please do not burden your children, be it foreign language or any other language. I don't want this session to turn into something wherein you start burdening your children that no, now you have to learn foreign language. It is very important, it is essential, it is important, it will help them as a additional skill for their future. But at the same time, we have to maintain their mental health and sanity. We don't have to pressurize them. Please keep that in mind. Supriya says, my son is 6. His okay, Supriya, I addressed your question. Zareen says, my daughter is 3. My family speaks in Hindi, and same does she. I interact with her in English, but only from my side. I didn't find it working. Okay, Zareen, it's absolutely fine. You do not stop talking to her in English. If you want her to learn English, please continue speaking to her in English as much possible. Try to sing songs with her, rhymes with her, read books. That is the key to everything. My house, if you would come and see, I just have books and books. When we moved from India, more than my clothes or anything else, all I packed and brought were English books for my daughter because I was in the process of teaching her English as a language and Hindi as a language. So all the treasure what I brought along with me from India was all the English books, because I had read before coming here that English books are very expensive over here and not readily available. But somehow, because of Olympics being into the picture here, the community library has recently introduced chapter books and basic series and picture books for English readers as well. We became very fortunate, but I had brought my treasure of all the books. So please, Zareen, use more and more books with your daughter. Read to her, encourage her to read, give select age appropriate books to her. I have done some I have done quite a few videos age group wise for English books on my YouTube channel and on my blog. I have done a lot of recommendations. Probably you can refer some of them for selecting the right English book for your daughter. But you please do not stop talking to your daughter in English. Please continue, and the key would be continuity and read books. The more you'll read, the more you'll talk, the more you'll communicate, the better she will get with it. Then Shika says, my daughter is 2 years and 11 months old. She knows little words of English, and if I'm speaking English, she can understand all the things, but she cannot speak those words. So okay. So even if she cannot speak, I'm really sorry, Atiksha. Okay, sing Atiksha. Sorry, Atiksha. I'm really sorry for not spelling your name correctly. It's absolutely fine. Sometimes your children are learning passively. They may not exhibit their learning, but they are learning. So children are very good learners. They absorb, they observe. So you would notice that suddenly out of the blue she would refer or quote some example which you would not have even thought of. Like my daughter has this habit, suddenly she would recall something which must have happened like 2 years back or 3 years back. She still have some memory so much engraved in her mind that she recalls them, and I get very surprised that, oh, she remembers this. this. So same goes when they are learning any new skill, or for that matter language. They are learning. They, though to it may seem to you that they are learning passively, or they might not listening, or they are not reciprocating, but learning is happening. So please do not stop talking to her, please do not stop reading to her, please continue. The efforts would repay. So even when my daughter started off with English, even though I used to read to her a lot, it took her really long to independently read books on her own. It was a tough fight for me unless I started the phonetical way of reading with her. I introduced some phonic books with her, and that's how I started. She gradually started improving, and she gained the confidence that she can read on her own as well. And it so happened that within a short span of time, during her holidays, that I consciously made effort to take her to the library over here, made her sit there and made her read more and more books. So she got eventually the confidence that she can read on her own, and now she is an independent reader. Though she still makes mistakes, she still needs to learn where to pause, where to stop while reading the book. If there is an exclamation mark, how she's supposed to read, but she's learning, she's progressing. So the whole idea, again I'm reiterating, please do not stop. Continuity is the key, and keep communicating with your child. That is very important. Most often we think that they are very young, they will not understand, but we are sadly mistaken. Our children understand much better than us. All we need to do is communicate rightly with them. Then next is Mansi Malik. My daughter is 1 year 5 months old. What is the right time? So as I said, you can start as early as possible. Swati says my daughter will be 3 and we are Marathi. Which language we should teach her? Swati, you can consider teaching her English. I'm sure when she'll go to school, she will learn English. And along with English, you can choose French or Mandarin or Japanese or German. They are very widely used all over the world. Okay. Miss Teja says that her child is speaks Telugu and 3 year old. So again, so if you look up the statistics, the best languages which are used all over the world, I'll say again: Mandarin, French, Spanish, German, Russian, Japanese, Arabic, Portuguese. Personally, if you'll ask my preference, I would say French, German, Japanese, and Mandarin. If you really want to consider, that would be that has come from my personal experience. Then Seema says my daughter first language is Hindi. She doesn't give much interest in English. How can I create interest? And if I don't know Arabic language, can my daughter pick that? Seema, it's absolutely fine. I also don't know Japanese, but my daughter is learning Japanese. I don't know French, but she's learning French. So it is not essential that a parent has to know the language for the child to pick the language. All they need is the environment, and they need to hear the language. So the key is that they need to constantly hear. They need somebody to communicate with. They need to see the text in books. They need to see the language in books. So that is very important. So hearing, communicating, and seeing in the books is the key for any language, be it English, Hindi, Marathi, Telugu, Tamil, any language for that matter. Children need constant stimulation. They need to listen, they need to read, they need to converse with other people. All right. Neha says, how can I introduce English in routine life to my son? The best thing to do, Neha, is please talk to your child, communicate. Communication is, I'm saying again, is the key. Use lot of books, look for age appropriate books. Please look up on my website or my YouTube channel. I have done lot of recommendations, especially for infants till 6 year old. I have done plethora of book recommendations, especially for English books, and with lot of focus I have given to the toddler books and the picture books, because that is what forms the foundation for a child when they start off with English, and that is what forms the foundation when they kickstart reading. So if your child gets interested in reading or in a particular language at an early age, the process becomes much easier, because then they start liking, when they read books, it starts forming pictures in their mind. That's what. So I remember reading, there is this author called Roald Dahl. I remember reading Roald Dahl, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, to my daughter when probably she was 4 year old. Today she's 7. So today she can read that book on her own. Earlier I used to read to her, because over the time when I kept on reading to her, so her capacity to listen to somebody reading to her increased. So I had even started reading to her chapter books, though it was a big strain for me that I had to read to her for so long, but I had to put in that much effort. So today, when she picks up Roald Dahl and she reads Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, she walked up to me just before this session. She came up to me and she said, Mama, I can see the pictures forming in my mind. I remember, this is how Wonka looked. This is how the chocolate factory looked. So, I read this book to her when she was 4, but, that memory engraved in her mind. And today at 7, she can recall when she's reading the book again and she's coming and telling me, Mama, I remember how Wonka looked. So please read to your child as much possible. Monali says, my child will live most of their life in India, so my focus is to teach more Indian language, and I'm proud of that. That's perfectly fine. Nobody is saying that you don't have to teach Monali Indian languages. I also come from India. I pay a lot of I consciously make effort to teach my daughter Hindi so that she can comprehend Hindi. So when I make equal effort to read a book to her in Hindi as well. So I'm not here when I'm talking about that we should introduce foreign language to the child. My intention is not that all our children are going to travel abroad. They may not, but within India also they may get opportunities to work with organizations who have their headquarters or offices across the globe. Things have become the world has become so small. I remember when I took my first flight when I was in college doing my master's program, but today my daughter flew in the aircraft when she was just 3 months old. So that is the difference. I flew for the first time when I was probably 24 and she flew when she was 3 months. So world has become smaller. So when I'm talking that we should give importance to foreign languages, the mere idea is that we make our children global citizens. So when they are traveling for their work purposes, they are getting opportunities to travel to other countries. They should be able to connect well. They should be able to fetch better opportunities for themselves. So that is what the entire objective is. That does not mean that I'm saying that you should not teach your mother tongue or our traditional Indian languages. I am a strong believer in our traditional values, in our traditional system. So I have nothing I'm not, so here I have no intentions of saying that please do not teach them Indian languages. Please go ahead. Any sort of language is going to benefit your child. So more than one language in any ways will be very beneficial for your child. Then I have Dolly saying, which book is helpful to introduce foreign language to 3-year-olds? So Dolly, you need to decide which language you are introducing. Accordingly, you will have to look up resources and make selections, and you can start off with basic picture books to begin with, basic letter books. Depending, like in case of Japanese, there are scripts, so you will have to go by hiragana, katakana. But in French, their letters are very much similar to English, so you will have to start with the basic book which has the letters being introduced with the French sounds. Then Yogita says, how to introduce storytelling to a 4-month-old baby, from where and which books to use. Yogita, you can look up videos on my channel, My Motherhood Studio. I have done a very lengthy video on books for toddlers, books for infants. You can get a lot of ideas from there. And when you say storytelling, I mean to say you don't have to really enact a story to your child, but you have to read to your child. So when you are reading to your child any language, any foreign language, English or any Indian language, please ensure that you speak in loud and clear voice. Please do not use motherese, use the words correctly, and also ensure that you are trying to introduce some kind of voice modulations, stress on emotions, so that children are able to understand. All right, and then I have few more last questions. How do we introduce a language? I always had this thing, but never knew how to do that. We don't know any foreign language. Rashi, it's absolutely fine that if you don't know any foreign language, as I shared, some of the most popular foreign languages all over the world, you can select any, and then you can start with the basic minimum, with your child. You can start with songs, rhymes. You can get plethora of stories and read aloud sessions online. And you can start with greetings, days of the weeks, numbers, colors, shapes. That is what you can kickstart in the language of your choice with your child. Hi, ma'am. Which foreign language is easier to learn, as she knows Hindi and English only? Oh, please, Akansha, your child knows two language. Your child is bilingual. It's such a big advantage. So you can, as I'm sharing again and again, please make a conscious call and a choice. There are popular languages. My personal choice is French, Japanese, Spanish, or German. You can always make a conscious call, which language you would want to introduce, and you can start off accordingly. What is Mansha says, what is an appropriate age to start learning a second or third language? You can start as early as possible. It's all about creating the learning environment. Varda says, my daughter is 4 year old. What is the right age? Please go ahead. You can introduce a foreign language straight away to your child, so it should not be a problem. I think I have one or two more questions here, and I think then I can wrap up the session. Ashita says, I want to know, teaching my kids in school in English and at home, as all parents are not educated, so they speak Hindi. Will it help them? Oh, definitely. See, any language you teach your child is definitely going to help them. As I said, consistency is the key, communication is the key, and introducing them to the language is the most important thing. So please use more and more books possible. For English, I have done a lot of reviews, so you can please, try one of the resources which I have shared already. Alicia says, my daughter is 7 months. How many languages can I introduce? Alicia, you don't have to, sweetheart, you don't need to bombard your daughter with multiple languages straight away. Please start with one language. First and foremost, you should speak to your child in the mother tongue, because that's what your child has been hearing you throughout while she was in the womb. So please speak to your child in the mother tongue, and eventually you can progress to the other language. Gradually introduce. Please do not bombard too many languages together. And another mantra which I forgot is that if in your house you have people speaking three different languages, please select one language for yourself. So suppose if you speak Hindi, please speak only Hindi to your child. Your husband speaks English, or you speak English, you divide or make choices between the two of yourself, that I will only speak in English to my child, you speak only in Hindi to my child. Or if he knows any other language, Marathi, Gujarati, Marwadi, Telugu, Tamil, or for that matter, any other foreign language, then that the other spouse can pick another language. Then you please strictly adhere to one particular language. So you will automatically notice that when your children will grow up, they will talk to you in the language you have been talking to them, and they will automatically switch to the language in which they are speaking to the father. I'll give you examples here. We have a lot of Indians also over here who married Japanese people. So either of the parent is Japanese and one parent is either the father is Japanese or the mother is Japanese. So those children, they speak English and Japanese both very fluently. So if mother is, in most of the cases here, mothers are Japanese and fathers are Indian, so they speak Japanese with the mothers and they speak in English with their fathers. There are my daughter had a friend in her kindergarten. So her mother is Japanese, father is Indian, but father is from South, so he speaks Tamil. So that child speaks Tamil, English, and Japanese, because Japanese that child speaks to the mother, and English because the child learnt in school, and because the father speaks to her in Tamil. So that girl speaks Tamil, English, and Japanese, all three languages. So as a spouse, as a couple, you have to make conscious choice and talk to your child accordingly. So please follow that mantra, that each one of you in the family, if you are 5 people in the family, along with the grandparents, 5 different languages, please stick to one language with your child. So you try to speak in that particular language. Even when you are reading to your child, try to read the book in different languages. Suppose there is a book which is in English and I am talking to my child in English, so I will read that book in English to my child, but my husband is speaking in Hindi, so he will use the same book to retell the story in Hindi to my child. So that's how the child would get to hear the same story in two different languages. That would activate the brain of the child, and the child would learn much better. Then we have Prishanka, hi, at what age kids starting reading a book independently? Prishankya, I'm really sorry. I'm very awful with the pronunciations today. You have a very good question. So it all depends, what kind of inputs, or what kind of an environment, and what kind of stimulation the child has got. So if the child has been read to and been encouraged to read early, then definitely they will start reading book independently at a very early age. But some children take time. For example, I sometime back only I shared that my daughter took really long to start reading independently, because sometimes children are inhibitant also. They think that probably because what I felt, that my daughter was facing difficulty, she was not able to join the two sounds together. So if it is written k at cat, she was finding it difficult. So that's what I identified, and I worked on that. I helped her read more and more phonics books, much more simpler books. I started complementing books with audio books, and sat with her, made her read the phonic books. You can see Songbird phonic review on my website. I have done a very detailed blog on phonic books, that why phonic books are important and how you should go about introducing. Oxford Reading Tree is what I have reviewed, and how wonderful that series is to introduce English, especially the phonic. They have a detailed phonic program. You can go on their website. I have all the details mentioned on in this particular blog, which you can refer to in case you are looking specifically at English. Then Anubhuti says, can a child learn different language simultaneously? Yes, Anubhuti, absolutely. A child can learn different language simultaneously. You see your own examples back in India. Our children learn English and Hindi by default. And if you happen to grow up in Calcutta or Mumbai, or for that matter, Delhi, children automatically pick another language. So if you are in Mumbai, you would automatically comprehend Marathi and Gujarati along with Hindi and English. So it doesn't happen consciously. It happens unconsciously, even with adults. As I said, I remember when from Delhi, when I moved to Mumbai for the first time, there was so much difference. They would call onion as kanda, whereas in Delhi they used to call it pyaz. So pyaz used to be called kanda, and then I remember dhania used to be referred to as kotimbir. I used to find it very funny, exciting, hilarious, and at the same time I used to enjoy. And then I was very surprised. I stayed in the hostel. I've done all my education staying in the hostel. After my school, I don't think I lived with my parents for very long. I was moving from one place to the other for my studies. And I remember when I went to my hostel in Mumbai, everybody, all the housekeeping and the administrative staff was referred to as Mama and Mami. I was surprised. I said, why they are referring everybody Maushi and Mama and Masi? I was like, because if you grow up in northern part of India, you refer to as Masi or Mosa to your mother side relatives. It is not referred to as to somebody unknown. And another thing, that police people used to be referred, or the traffic police used to be referred as Mama. Are Mama signal par hai. So that used to be very exciting for me, and I used to find it very different. So I consciously started making attempts, and then I moved to my own apartment. Then I used to go to the vegetable vendor, and I used to tell her, Maushi malapand kothambir have. So she used to laugh because I had such a funny Marathi accent. I couldn't speak properly, but it was good. It was fun. I had a cook coming in at home. I used to try to converse with her in Marathi. She would laugh out loud that, दीदी आपको बोलना नहीं आता, आप कैसे बात कर रहे हो, आपकी मराठी कैसी है. But even though they would laugh, I would continuously talk, because somehow I felt that it will connect me better with them. It used to nothing more forget anything whether I learned or not. At least I used to give them a good laugh by talking silly stuff. Same thing I'm doing here also in Japanese. Even though I can't speak much Japanese, I make an effort when I go to a supermarket or I go to a convenience store. I try to speak broken Japanese. I try to frame sentence. So they laugh, we laugh. Sometimes they don't understand English. A lot of people here use, especially in hospitals and convenience store, they use translator. There is a small device which you get over here. So if you say the audio, it translates the English to Japanese, and sometimes it is so so funny that sometimes the Google Translate doesn't work really well, or these devices don't work really well, and the entire meaning of the conversation start, the entire meaning changes for that particular conversation. But it's fun, they laugh, we laugh, and sometimes we just use our body language to communicate with each other. So I feel communication is very important. It's, you can if you can communicate even with your body language, without talking also you can communicate so much. And if you know their language, is definitely a blessing in disguise. Probably, if you'll know Japanese before coming to Japan, and if you'll travel in Japan, you will be at so much advantage. You will know so much more. Now today when we travel here, we struggle because we don't know the language. Most of the travel applications, or the booking things are completely in Japanese, and if you try to translate them in English, it doesn't really work very well. So, but then there are where there are tourist places, they do make, in Japan they have made conscious effort to have people who can, speak English, especially at the metro stations. They have, special places where they have people helping out. So information desks are there, where they have dedicated staff to speak to expats in English and help them, finding the correct train, or changing a particular line, or going from one line to the other, because entire Japan survives on public transport, and the public transport is really amazing over here. And so you need to communicate. So initially we used to struggle. Then even in currency, how they say, so 100 yen is called as hyaku yen. So 300 yen is called sanbyaku yen. So I don't get the accent, but I try to communicate. The people laugh. So in Japanese, sugoi means nice, jozu means good. So if I try to speak in Japanese with them, they say sugoi ne, jozu des. So jozu des means good, good, that you are trying. I remember we had been to one of the aquariums, and everything is very systematic over here. They wait for everyone. So they were doing the reverse countdown before opening the doors of a particular show which was there for the children. So the Japanese counting goes by ichini san. So, so I could so by the time I had learned the number in Japanese, so I was just reciting it with my daughter, and there was a Japanese person standing right there, and he understood, he could speak English. So he immediately turned back and he said, very nice, very good, jozu, jozu, that you are trying to learn Japanese. So the other person also feels, you feel welcome, because they also feel good that somebody has come into our country and they're putting in effort to learn their language, to communicate with them. So so that's why when you travel, language comes very handy, because any aquarium, museum I take my daughter to, most of the communication, though they have in English, but there are places that most of the communication is in Japanese. They have a lot of interactive sessions here for children in aquariums and museums, but unfortunately it is because they have Japanese staff, and though not many people speak English, all the information is in Japanese. Those sessions are in Japanese, though children don't need any language to communicate, so they somehow manage. But definitely the understanding is far, far better if the child understand that language. Anubhuti says, can I please have the link of your blog? Please Google mymotherhoodstudio.com. That is the link to my blog. And with the same name, I have my YouTube channel. I think I'm done with all the questions. And I think I can close the session here. Suraja also is reaching out. I think there are no more questions, and I have answered most of the questions. Yes. So Surya also has given me a go ahead that we can end the session now. It was wonderful. It was lovely to have you all over here and listen to what I said. Your comments are most welcome. If you have any queries, please leave it in the comment sections. I would be happy to get back to you. So thank you once again. And Oya Sumina Sai, a very good night. For me, it's 9:32 in the night now. So thank you so much once again for being here and listening to me. Thank you so much. Arigato gozaimashita.